We are about to begin. It says it is starting.
Yeah.
And we are live. I'm clipping like crazy on the microphone. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. This is the Texas Toast podcast for Sunday. And today is March 31st. So that is totally cool. And today we have actually Ike from Flipside Music just walked in the door. And this is his guitar right behind me. Hey, Carol.
I don't know, babe.
Okay.
Well, get your phone. Get your phone.
Get it together.
Well, it's just, shit's fucked up. I don't say. It's nothing I'm doing.
Stand by, everyone.
Why does it all look so fancy?
Because
Carrie Ann, can you shut the sound off on the Internet Explorer page? That's
this is an old one. That's
yeah.
What I want. Here we go live.
Oh man, what a bummer. We are live.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, so all I'm getting is the 5-second delay. So can you go to the Internet Explorer page that you have open and cancel it out? There we go. All right, 5 o'clock. We're solid. We're doing what we meant to do. Sorry about that, everyone.
That worked out perfect.
Worked out exactly right.
Yeah.
All right, let's start over again. So we are live, and I'm clipping like crazy. I need to back away from the microphone for a little bit. So thanks for joining us on today is March 31. Oh, I got it all. It's funny when you have the headphones on. I'm talking to Ike in the back, and the reason you can't hear Ike in the back is because I have a microphone right here, and there's no microphone out there. So if you want to be on the show, you have to be on this side of the microphone. So anyway, maybe we'll get Ike to be in the program here in just a little bit. So anyone who's watching and knows Ike from Flipside Music, we'll get Ike to weigh in on what's his favorite guitar here in a little bit. And in the meantime, we're going to talk about our favorite guitars, and we want to hear about what you guys, your favorite guitars are. And when you tell us, you need to be prepared to defend that thesis. So as always is Garth Algar. No, is Chris Fesker. How you doing today, Chris?
I'm okay. I'm not great.
All right. What
It's not working.
oh geez. So we're not actually doing anything? We shit the bed? It says it's going.
You got a lovely radio voice though.
Everyone's fucking with me.
Oh,
It's working fine.
we're not actually doing anything. We should
Turn that shit off. Oh my god. Yeah, it's going. Chris is it's on his fucking phone right now. Everyone's irritating me. Yeah, you did something. This is what happens when you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people
Oh my god.
trying to figure out how to work the internet.
It's fucking technical.
Okay.
So are we good?
Yeah. Now I've got some news thing on the thing. Okay.
It's all right. We don't need to see ourselves, do we?
No.
Man, this thing is super directional today.
I told it's not just today, dude. It's always. This really should have been taken care of 10 minutes ago when you had the
I think I'm
opportunity
good
to do
now.
that.
There we go.
You thought so, but you're not.
Yeah, I like talking into the top of it. You can talk into the side of it all you want.
All right. Okay, everybody, here we are for the 800 million. I'm really getting pissed now
Well,
because there's a bunch of I'm turning Carrie Ann's mic. Okay. So we're just going now.
Okay.
Okay, everyone. I should just start drinking because this is yeah.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Weenie
All right, Chris,
roller.
tell me about your favorite guitar, quick.
My favorite guitar. I like lots of guitars, and
No one asked you what guitars you liked.
Come on,
I said,
man.
what's your favorite guitar?
Fender Jazzmaster is my favorite guitar
Because
I really like the tremolo system on them. I think it's silky smooth.
Mhm.
I like to keep it silky smooth. I like the pickups. I like the way they sound. I like how comfortable the guitar is to play standing and sitting. It's all the roundovers and comfort contours and stuff like that. It's just a really comfortable guitar. And It suits the kind of music that I like to play, which is mostly instrumental surf music.
So most of those surf guys played Fender offsets, right?
Well, Strats and Jags and Jazz Masters are the traditional instruments of that genre.
Did you ever see that there was like a Greek surf band that played all Gibsons? And I remember when I was in the Aquasonics with you in Maui, I sent a video link of that to Maui.
Yeah.
And I think I got something to the effect of, oh, geez, I can't get a surf tone. Yeah.
That sounds right. Yeah.
So someone says they own a Jaguar.
I like Jags too. Jags are cool. I almost said Jag, but I'll go with Jazz Master today.
So the Jag is cool because it has quite a bit shorter scale length.
Yeah, it's 24-inch scale versus the 25.5-inch scale that most of the other Fenders are.
That's cool. I also like that it has 22 frets.
Yeah.
There's not everyone notices there's a lot of subtle differences between Jazz Masters and Jaguars.
Yeah.
Not just the pickups.
Right. Yeah. Everybody gets them confused. But they're really very different instruments in a lot of ways. So yeah.
Have you ever had a Jag that you like radically modified to be a rock and roll machine?
No, I've never. Well, for one thing, I am not a huge humbucker guy.
Yeah.
So me putting in humbuckers into a Jag or something like that is a waste.
Do you remember we did the one for Doo Paid Dave, and it had the Novak pickups, and the rhythm circuit was replaced with the his like overdrive circuit, or it was adding a coil to the rear pickup is what it did, rather than switch you to the neck pickup.
Yeah.
So you went from a single coil like P90 almost to a doubled up P90.
Yeah.
With the flick of a switch.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So it looks like we got a bunch of comments rolling, and I want to tell you guys about my favorite guitar. It's better than Chris's. He doesn't know. And by the way, when I say my favorite guitar, I'm not talking about the guitars that I designed, or but stuff that you could just buy, stuff that you could go into some guitar store somewhere and buy. And that is the Hamer. Well, actually, it is the Hamer. It's also the Paul Reed Smith, but it started out probably as the Gibson Les Paul Special double cutaway. One of my all-time favorite guitars. I've always loved them. And I think it's because they look cool, but as when I started building guitars, I started to appreciate some of the other little things about that instrument. For example, you can make one pass on the shaper and the outline's done. So we made one for Cheddar Kung Pao. I don't know if he's watching right now, but Cheddar's got one. I've got one that's mine downstairs, and it's white. I've always liked the Hamer. Hamer called them the Hamer Special, and they were super cool. And Paul Reed Smith's first guitars were actually that shape too. The Santana guitar is basically that shape, not carved, or they're not flat tops, they're carved, I think. But Ike, do you know if the Paul Reed Smith Carlos Santana guitars are carved, or are they? I want to say they are. Yeah. So I always like the flat top ones, and I think they're just a cool guitar. And the more I build guitars, I can see why Gibson made them and everybody else has copied them, because they're just a fun. They're almost like the Gibson's Telecaster. There's not a whole lot going on. They're kind of basic, and they can be fairly modular too. So, but I'm with you. I like the Jazzmaster too. That's a really cool. You kind of got me into those, and we started making some guitars. We call them the Super Casanova.
Right.
Now, do you know why we started to call them the Super Casanova?
No, I don't, Matt.
Do you really not?
I do. But go ahead and tell the story.
I didn't know if you knew or not. So, we started making those about the same time that we were making some guitars for Brad Davis from Fu Manchu. And Brad Davis is the bass player, but we built him some guitars because he's also a badass guitar player. And there's a Fu Manchu song. Oh, but let's back up. Scott from Fu Manchu, who is the singer, started out playing before he was playing the Dan Armstrong Lucite guitars. And the reason he plays those is because he's really into Greg Ginn and Black Flag, I guess. But he was playing Fender Jags, and he's a big guy. He's easily 6 something. And so the guitar, he just, they're really easy guitars for him to play, I guess, because like I say, he's not small. No. And so there was a song that they have called Slee Stack, and the very first lyric is Super Casanova. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome. We have to call a guitar the Super Casanova. So our version of the Fender offset is called the Super Casanova because of the band Fu Manchu.
Right.
In case anybody was wondering. And we got a lot of trouble on the offset guitar forum for some of the copy that I had on the website for a while.
Yeah.
On the Super Casanova. The website's actually going through some updating, so it looks very different. It's very, very streamlined right now because I'm changing a bunch of stuff. But anyway, if you know what I'm talking about with Super Casanovas, they're basically our version of the classic Fender offset, and they are very cool.
And we have 3 different models. We
do,
yeah. Because really, it's the Casanova. The Super Casanova is the top end, deluxe version.
Well, isn't there a Casanova Deluxe?
Yes,
and a Casanova LTD.
Yeah. and the LTD is the most. It's the most traditional of the 3.
Yep, it's got a bolt-on neck.
Yeah. And the other ones are a little more tricked out, and the Super Casanova's
the trick
fully
is
trick.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So we've been on the air for 10 minutes, and I think only 7 or 8 of those was me saying fuck. So I know there's a lot of comments coming in. You guys want to tell us about your favorite guitar, and I want to start talking about what you guys think is your favorite guitar, and I want to tell you what I think about your choice. And I'm going to be brutally frank. Now, I'm sure that you guys have a lot of cool stuff. Let's turn Mrs. Texas Toast microphone back on, would you, Chris? Since she's not yelling at me anymore. And okay, what's the first one you got there?
All right, so Tony, I can't even pronounce his
Tone.
My favorite is 24-inch Fender Stratocaster.
So a short scale Fender Strat. I've never seen one of those.
I haven't either.
No, but let's talk.
I don't.
It would be easy to do because
it really wouldn't.
No, it would. I think because you could take a standard. You could take a standard neck. So wait a minute, let's back up. So the 24-inch Jaguar scale neck is essentially a 25.5-inch scale fretboard with the cutoff at the first fret. So yeah, you'd probably have to line it up, or you could get one of those Warmoth necks. I suppose.
Conversion neck.
Yeah, but I don't know if those are 24. Tony, how are you doing that? Is that an offering that there's another chair, Dylan, right by Ike there? Are you doing that with a custom neck, or is that something that Fender made and you just lucked into it? Let me know. Inquiring minds want to know.
I think you can buy that from Fender Japan. That's what I'm going to go with.
Okay, I'm down with that. What else they got there, Carrie Ann?
Okay, well,
Dylan is joining us now too from Flipside Music. So we got the Flipside crew in -1.
And now I'm super nervous because we have a crowd here. It's like, yeah, thanks. Yeah.
So what's next there, Carrie Ann? What do we got?
Bengal's favorite is the Spectre NS2 natural body.
Is that a bass, or is that the guitar that is shaped like the Spectre bass? I always liked the way that those looked. Remember we saw the Spectres at the NAMM show a couple years ago, and they're still making them just like they were back in the, I don't know, it's probably started in the early 80s or late 70s, and they're super fun. And they got that opposite of the Ovation contour on the back. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, I do.
All right.
Okay, and Terry's GG&G says the PRS Santana is carved.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think that all the PRSs are carved now.
And it is a bass. But
if you go back, okay, cool. But if you go back in time and look at the early Paul Reed Smith guitars before he started making that shape that he is pretty much famous for now. I want to say those were all flat top instruments. I'm not sure though. What else you guys got? We want to know what your favorite guitar is if you're just tuning in, and let us know what you got. What do you got there, Mrs. Texas Toast? Is there anyone else who's
Death by Humbuckers. Hi guys.
Death by Humbuckers?
Favorite guitar at the moment would be one of the 12-string Eastwood Surfcaster reissues, but he preferred TT version.
Ooh, a TT version. Chris, are you familiar with the Eastwood?
So it's a recreation of the Charvel Surfcaster. They made 6-string and 12-string versions, and Eastwood did a reissue of both of those. We are actually making a Fender Electric 12 copy as we speak, so that'll be cool. It might even be cooler than a Charvel.
Well, was that the one with the pickguard that went up over the upper horn, or am I thinking of like a Super Strat that said surf on it somewhere?
Yeah. This. Do you remember? Well, I'll look it up as we're talking.
Okay. Yeah, I want to see what that looks like, and if anyone wants to see a Texas Toast version of your favorite guitar, let me know.
Yeah, we can do stuff like that.
Hey, look, Flipside Music just commented. I really like that Billy Bow style guitar with the big. This is a really cool guitar, except the neck is positively Titanic. It's like it's over an inch thick at the first fret. Lord only knows what it is at the 12. Oh yeah, that's not the one I was thinking of. Yeah.
So they're neat.
Bet you want to play this, don't you, Ike? Yeah. Have you peed your pants yet?
Yeah, tough rocks.
So while we're here and we've got Ike from Flipside Music, does anyone want to see Ike's new guitar? You're looking at it right here. So this is a guitar that we built for our buddy Ike, and it is our version of what started out in the 60s as the Jupiter Jet, and the awesome Bo Diddley played it, but also Lady Bo and the Duchess played one. So we call our version the Duchess, and so this one is for Ike, and he picked all the cool stuff, and of course he has a music store, so it was easy for him to source all the components. Ike, you want to get in and tell us a little bit about your new soon-to-be favorite guitar? You want to come on this side of the camera, or
It's up to you.
come on over? Yeah, we can. I'll kick Chris out for the thing there.
Yeah, you can kick me off here for a few. I'm feeling a little peaked today.
He's feeling a little peckish,
unfortunately. Yeah.
So, Mrs. Texas Toast, what else you got for
I know, I got all excited about
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Let's.
Sorry.
So we're
So,
taking a break from what's your favorite guitar to show off Ike's brand new guitar.
Show off Mike's favorite guitar.
So Ike, you put these guys on, and yeah.
Put the cans on.
Yeah,
I'm all sweaty for you.
I love these cans.
He's got them all
These are
farted
great
up
cans.
for you. All right, let's get a
This
mic
weird.
check. It is weird. So
It's a
yeah,
lot.
just if you talk into the front bit there, then you'll be it's
It
funny.
feels, it feels like that SNL skit. Yeah.
Well,
hard.
the funny part is that everyone who watches me do this are like, oh, your radio voice is really awesome.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah, well, I know, and so then you get on the thing, and it's impossible to not do that. All
Well,
right.
you get the deepness.
Mm-hmm.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's 72 degrees here in Denver. There's a southwesterly wind at 40 miles an
See,
hour.
man.
The winds of change are blowing.
So, Mrs. Texas Toast. Now we have Ike from Flipside Music, and he's joining us. Remember, I told you there might be some special guests, and who knows, there might be more. Is there anything else that what else is?
David Guitar Madman. I love my Gibson Les Paul Special Pro and my Martin D28 Centennial Dreadnought.
Awesome guitars. Very cool. I'm not much of an acoustic guy. Mostly because I don't know why. I want to say it's because Billy Gibbons once said that acoustic guitars are bad luck,
They're
and
not loud enough.
well, it's hard to make them a whole lot louder.
Fender's trying.
Everyone's trying, and everyone's done a very good job. But the fact of the matter is that it's so much easier to get a solid body to do what you want it to do. So, in terms of volume, you know what I mean?
I'm messing around
Hey,
with this thing.
man.
I'm trying to get the proper voicing.
Yeah. you should get a setup like this for your podcast.
That's like so professional, though. I'm kind of surprised you guys got a little
Oh, we have it up.
interface.
That's right.
and everything.
Thank you again to all of our Patreon supporters who help us out, and without the support of our Patreon members, we wouldn't be able to have audio equipment that allows you to hear us effectively. So
It sounds great.
Yeah.
I think it sounds great.
Cool. Well, I'm looking forward to having everyone who's not watching or listening right now to enjoying this while they're supposed to be at work tomorrow.
Yes, these are time wasters.
That's right. I think it's going to be a terrific way to blow an hour on a Monday. So,
At least.
Mrs. Texas Toast, what else you got for us there?
Rodney Smotherman, I would love to see y'all's version of Fender Supersonic.
Supersonic. Remember that? Remember Supersonic, La Tigra and Bunny? And
No.
They all like to dance.
yeah.
Basketball
And
dance
the
bars
well,
and
but
I
the
don't think so.
the band was actually called La Tigra.
like the shirts.
And they had
Oh.
You wear them under your members only.
yeah, and they
I
were
don't think I-
Supersonic.
Remember that.
It was a
Crowd.
girl rap group, and they were they were fun, but it has nothing to do with the Fender Supersonic. I'm not familiar with the Fender Supersonic guitar. I know the Fender Supersonic
There's an
amp.
amp. That's the
but-
only one I know.
So originally it was the Squire Supersonic.
What does it look like, Chris?
It was inspired by a picture of Jimi Hendrix holding an upside down
Oh,
or a right-handed Jag upside down.
okay.
He apparently mimed a performance with. The guitar wasn't even
Oh, it
in.
wasn't
The
actually
strings
plugged
were
in.
Still upside down. Nobody realizes that when they look at the picture and they say, "Oh, Jimmy played Jags." No, he didn't.
Okay,
But anyway,
that's
it was-
a
yeah,
cool
so
shape. Yeah.
it looks kind of like an upside down and squished Fender Jaguar.
Okay.
But it's got a Strat trim and I think it's got humbuckers in it. It's got 2 humbuckers in it.
I'm not sure if everyone can hear our off-camera people. They have their own microphone, but I don't know what it's bringing to the party. So, it's certainly not bringing to the party this radio voice that I have.
Right. The super low.
Yeah, and then Fender came out with their version a couple
Okay.
years ago. They did a
Cool.
reissue of it under the Fender.
Excelente. Oh, there you go. No, so Dylan's
yeah.
showing me a picture
Okay.
of that. So yeah, that's awesome.
They're weird because they're kind of small.
What else you got there, Mrs. Texas Toast? What we want to know what your favorite guitars are, and if you're just joining us, make sure to leave them in the comment section. And the lovely and talented Mrs. Texas Toast has been trying to keep up with all of this stuff. Hope she is. We don't know.
Well, here's a little sidebar. Eric Mangle said, "Kick the baby, Ike."
I guess
Canadian.
that. Oh, is he?
Yeah, Ike from South Park.
Oh, geez.
Close enough. We're in Colorado. So
Yeah.
We actually have one of the little. We have a little Ike doll at the
One
shop.
day we're going to do a story about Chris's brush with the first season of South Park, which is a real thing, and it has everything to do with Chewbacca and the guy with the voice box.
Oh.
So yeah, one day we'll do a podcast on nothing but all the funny shit that
From South
Chris.
Park?
Yeah, well,
Or just from that one season.
it's mostly season 1, and it'll be very and you know what maybe we'll also do in that same podcast is we'll get Chris to tell us his car's story, which is
All right.
not
I'm
the
so tired
vehicle
of
but the
this.
band.
Yeah.
Or-
Band
yeah, so
cars?
I have
okay,
a strange
so
connection to South Park.
now
So I think-
remember if you're going to be in the show, you got to be on this side of the thing. So man, it's like
I think
herding
South-
cats.
I think South Park is, for people that live in Colorado, it's at least 20% funnier because most of the stuff that they reference
Mhm.
are things that we deal with we see it all the time.
And
Also,
go.
they don't even do stuff in Denver. Like
All right, remember
Right.
if you're going to be on the fucking show, you got to be on this side of the fucking
Hey,
camera.
I have a special
Okay, so what else do we got there?
weenie roller.
Weenie roller.
So Welder Mayas, sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. I love Telecasters, but would love to build one with solid white cedar body, natural finish, black binding, and hardware, and 0 frets.
That sounds like a fun guitar to make. You should do that and send me pictures when you are completed. Unless you
Cedar.
want me to do it.
How heavy is cedar? Is it about the same as what you'd get with alder
Well,
or ash?
it can be very, very light.
Okay.
Yeah. So
So E.R. Webster says, hard to pick one, but for now, Fender Aerodyne MIJ Telecaster. The P90 on it is just sublime.
I had an Aerodyne bass that I really liked. There was something about it that was just a really cool thing. It didn't have an arch top. It had a curved top. So it was like the whole thing had like a 20-degree radius on the top. And I want to say that all the guitars are like that as well. And they came in, I think in this country, you could get them in black with binding. And if you were in Japan, you could get them in red or blue. Does anyone knows? Let me know.
I don't know.
You should know. You have
I'd
a
like-
music store.
I know. And we just started carrying Fender.
So let's talk.
Shameless plug.
Let's talk a little bit about that. So a lot of people's favorite guitars are Fenders, and you guys have them now.
We do. We just started what? They just started rolling in about 3 weeks ago.
What's the hottest selling Fender that you guys have now?
The one, well, the Powercaster. That's
Mhm.
the one that people have asked us a number of times about. We also have.
That's
they're not-
basically a Fender with a bunch of Gibson stuff on it, right?
It
Humbuckers
would
and a
be
stop-tail?
reminiscent to
Okay.
Gibsons.
All right.
You know, the scale length as well is a shorter scale length, 24 3/4.
So it's a Gibson scale.
So it's
So it's a Fender with a bunch of Gibson stuff on it. I mean, there's nothing wrong with
Yeah.
that. Why not? Yeah.
yeah.
Not on camera, but it's like a Jag and a Gibson melded.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
So we got those coming in, and then the new Meteoras are pretty popular. People have been asking us about. I like those personally.
How many of those sucky Telecaster acoustic things are you selling?
We haven't ordered them yet. But you know what's funny is people have asked us if we're getting them in, and
you're
I'm
like-
still kind of they're not supposed to even show up until June or July.
Oh, so they're not actually
I'm
available yet. Okay.
Well, people are selling them pre-sale. Like
Mhm.
the big box companies are selling them pre-order, and they're telling us that we're not going to see them until June or July.
Are you telling them we're not going to see them at all because they're so dumb?
I'm like, I'm going to make the order later on. I want to get stuff that we know is going to
Do
people are going
they
to be
have
interested
like
in.
minimum? Okay, we're going to need you to order at least 5 of these dorky things.
No, I wouldn't do that.
Actually,
It would just wouldn't happen.
It's not fair because they sound pretty good, but they remind me so much of the Kramer Farringtons from the 80s.
Yeah.
Remember those, which were
Mhm.
sort of like super acoustics. I guess,
Well,
I guess they had pointy headstocks and yeah.
Fender, I mean, they've already been down this road with the
Yeah.
teleacoustics and the
Uh-huh.
Stratoacoustics before. I mean, to a certain degree.
Yeah.
But those had like plastic backs, like the Ovations.
Ugh.
Yeah, that's
Fun
a whole nother story. I have a body in my house.
An Ovation body or a
No, I have one of those
Oh,
old
okay.
of course, it's a
yeah.
teleacoustics, but the top needs to be redone.
Fun fact, I will not do that. And the other fun fact is
That was the next question.
yeah, it's hard to get if it's made out of the same stuff that the Ovation backs were made of, and I have it on decent authority that's actually helicopter blade material. Who knows
Really?
if that's true or not, but yeah, it's almost impossible, and they always separate from the backs. So yeah, it's a real bummer to
This-
do.
The one I have is it looks like it's just cracked. So it might just be some little bit of
They all look like they're just
humidity and
cracked.
stuff like that.
It's easy.
We'll throw a little glue in there and restring it and see what happens.
Yeah,
I'll bring it over. You'll love it.
yeah. It sounds like a really fun project. I
It'll
haven't
be a
done
hoot.
one of those since the early 90s. Mrs. Texas Toast, what else do you have for us?
So Terry's GG&G,
Mhm.
I'd like to do a variation on the Telecaster Deluxe, except the black dove or white dove variation.
What is a white dove? And we missed one here. Let's see. I
did.
got someone had a Dean Razorback with a Floyd. We just had Mike Learn on the podcast. It was before we had all the microphones, so it was crazy and you couldn't actually understand anything. Mike's doing a really cool paint class and I want to say it's in Texas this time.
I think you're right.
And he's got a couple celebrity guests, including Scott Oliver from Dangerous Toys. They're going to be in attendance this time.
I think I saw that.
Yeah,
I saw
so-
he had one that he did with skulls on a gas tank.
Yeah.
correct?
Oh yeah, well, so Mike paints all kinds of stuff, including guitars and bikes and everything, because he's an airbrush
A
master.
wizard.
Yeah, I mean he's got his own airbrush company, like not like a company that does airbrush work, but they make their own airbrushes.
manufacture
Yeah.
airbrushes. That's pretty.
So he has his own brand, and he's highly coveted and sought after as an artist. So, but anyway, if anyone is interested in having a Mike Learn paint job or learning how to do airbrush work, check out learnguitars.com. No, wait, I think it's MikeLearn.com
Mhm.
and see what he's got on tap, because there's lots and lots of cool stuff. What's next? What do we got?
Well, GG or Terry said that somebody had a teleacoustic in Canada.
Oh, geez.
Oh, they had one of those acoustics there in Canada, over in Ontario. We do that because I watch Ben Coombs a lot, so I'm slowly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Remy
Hey,
R,
good day, everyone. I'm
Hey,
Bob McKenzie.
Hey, I think I found a mouse in my beer. We want to get a refund. Can we get a free case?
Take off.
You hoser. Okay, all right, back.
They're probably over.
All right,
that.
back on track here. Let's.
So
It's
Remy R, my favorite bass is Rickenbacker 4003 for guitar. I really dig Gibson Firebird.
I love both of those guitars. And that bass too. One of the very first fret jobs that I ever did, poorly, I might add, was on a Rickenbacker guitar that was shaped just like the 4001 bass, and I can't remember the model number.
480.
Was it the 480? Okay. And it was the
It's
fret
the encyclopedia of
fret
Dylan.
jobs on Rickenbackers are always tricky because the rosewood, generally speaking, and they put a hard finish over the rosewood like Fender does over maple, and it just dries it out, and it's really, really bad. So there's no great way to do that. I'm sure somebody who is way better at repair than me knows a great way to do it, but I have not figured out a way to do it. But those are really cool guitars. I thought those were super, super awesome.
They get a lot of chip out.
That was one of the problems.
And that's the same thing
dry.
with a Fender maple neck, right? You're getting more chip out because of the poly, not necessarily because of the wood.
Well, I'm not sure, and so depending on how old it is, it might not have polyester on it. It might actually have lacquer. But a lot of people think that all new paint is poly, and anyway. Well, that's a thing for another show. So yeah, you have to heat them, and that's one of the secrets. And you have to heat it, and you have to melt all that stuff away, and then you can pull it off. But you still get some chunks come out. One of the reasons that the early Fenders had refret chip out was because Fender pulled the frets through the slot rather than pressed them in.
Right, they went through the side.
Yeah. So they went through the side, and if you go yanking them out through the top, you're going to get all kinds of chippy action. So that's another way to get chips if you like refretting guitars.
Extra chips.
Side
of chips.
Death by Humbucker. Meteora, seriously cool guitar and possibly the best original shape I've seen in years.
I had a chance to play it when I was at the NAMM show,
Mhm.
and I was like, let's see. And then I sat and played it, and I really like.
What's the deal? What's the deal with the Meteor? That's Fender's new offering.
It's kind of got a Jazzmaster E shape, sort of. It's in that vein, but it has a little bit more. It's a little pointier and a little bit different curves.
Okay.
It's pretty cool. It looks modern. It looks like they did it. They came out last year with it, and it was a USA made. It was like $2,000, and I think they did well. And so now the next set is they have three different colors, but they're also made in Mexico, so they've lowered the price to about $1,400, I think.
All right,
and
that's a lot of money for a standard, a Mexican made anything, right? What does it have? Like some swanky bridge or pickups or something, or
it's a through body.
Okay,
so it's just there again. It's a stop tail piece. That's it right there.
Oh wow, okay,
cool enough. Cool.
How many you got in the store?
None yet. We're waiting for them to come in.
Okay, all right.
Those are another one that, I mean, some companies, we're small potatoes. We're like small potatoes.
Kids are big time, baby.
The big guys they all get that shit, or be way before we do. We're like whatever's left over here. You guys can have it now. Okay, it's not nearly that bad, but
at least you have a
we're in the game.
You've got you're in the game, and you got some really cool stuff. If anyone is in the Denver area and you're not going to Flipside, well, you're doing it wrong. You're failing as a citizen if you're not going to Flipside Music and you live in the Denver area. This episode of Texas Toast Podcast brought to you by Flipside Music, as always.
Denver's home for toe.
Is that what?
Is that it?
Actually,
that's a kind of tagline.
I actually stole one of your things. I stopped saying "if you're so smart, build it yourself" at the end of every video, and now at the end of some videos, it's Life Short. You might as well have a cool guitar. Yours, so I borrowed heavily from Life Short. Make some noise. Yeah. So Flipside Music, check them out. Ike and Dylan and Chris are all super cool guys, and they all eventually are going to have Texas Toast guitars.
2 of them
I think
already
who else are we missing? MJ.
Chris.
Yeah.
MJ doesn't have one.
What's his problem? What does he think? He's better than us?
I don't know. We should call him. We should go over there and ask him. Hey, listen, guy, what's your effing problem?
This fucking guy.
This fucking guy.
Can everyone hear Mrs. Texas Toast in the background? She has a microphone, but we've turned it way down because
why? I have a shrill voice.
Yeah, she has a shrill voice. I don't know if anyone
turn down
can.
the highs, turn the treble down.
Well, now our mixer, I don't know if you noticed, but it just has a volume control. So,
Oh.
Mrs. Texas Toast, what's next? What else does everyone love?
Bullwhip Johnson's.
Oh, that guy's
current
hilarious.
Is his Epiphone Emperor Regent. It's from 1996 and almost an antique now. What does that make you?
That makes me a fucking relic. Then, yeah, I'm even relicked.
You're an Egyptian.
So yeah, if 96 is an antique,
Fuck.
geez, I don't know. I don't know if I buy the whole 96 as an antique.
I don't know if I buy that either.
Let's talk a little bit
That's
about
because we remember it very clearly.
how old does something have to be before you consider it vintage, Ike?
Well, basically they say 30 years is where it starts to be.
Yeah, that's actually wrong. In order for a guitar to be vintage, it has to be made before 1960, as far as I'm concerned. Well, I'll even go.
As far as you're concerned, but that's not like a rule.
Yeah, so
that's not like a real.
I'll even go to 1965. It has to be made before 1965
so pre-CBS.
Before it to be considered vintage, as far as I'm concerned. Now, I'm not going to make a lot of friends by saying that because there's a lot of guys with, I have a 73 Gibson.
Well, that would be
thing that nobody wanted in 1980, and now I have it because it's old, and that happens a lot. I remember some of the stuff that. I remember I went to a yard sale in 1989 or 90, and there was a 70s, like a Norland era Les Paul with a maple neck, and the guy wanted $400 for it. And I'm like, no way would I ever pay $400 for that. And of course now you could probably get $500 or $600 for it.
At least.
Well, it wasn't like that awesome of a Les Paul. It was just this, maple neck Les Paul, and it's not the cool one to have. You know what I mean? It's cool, but it's not the cool one.
I think a maple neck Les Paul is cool. I like it because it's maple.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is,
I thought you were going to say that you liked it because of Mick Ronson. Homo.
Yeah. But just because some shit is old doesn't mean that it's worth a lot. We run into that. They're like, well, it's from blah, blah, blah. And it's like, it was kind of shit then, and it's still crap now. And now it's just older.
But actually, though, sometimes stuff that used to be not very cool becomes cooler.
Harmony.
The older it gets. Sure.
The Harmony stuff, the Stella stuff, that's all become. I remember going to garage sales and buying that shit for $10.
Mm-hmm.
And now they sell for at least, it's not like astronomical money, but 200 or better. Because guys are buying them and then redoing the solid tops and shit like that on some of those guitars.
Well, no, that's the thing. I'm not trying to talk shit about Bullwhip Johnson's 96 Epiphone, which I'm sure is awesome, but it makes me feel old if that's considered an antique now.
Well, I don't know. I wouldn't consider 96 an antique.
You're an antique.
I'm certainly a freaking antique.
You smell like ointment and pee.
Get off my lawn with your fucking Epiphone.
So, Baptiste Baritone, hi. My favorite one, if I can only keep one, is a Music Man Silhouette bass. I have a replica, and it's an amazing instrument between bass and guitar, 30-inch scale, 6 strings, tuned to low.
Music Man makes great stuff, and even some of the knockoff stuff, the OLPs. Remember the OLPs? Those were surprisingly not sucky, and if they could get a hardware upgrade, they were really excellent. And I want to say they were probably a little too good.
I think we got one.
That's one of the reasons.
Like an Eddie Van Halen shaped guitar one. Yeah. And it plays really nice.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody's got in here Bartoloni pickups.
Ooh, Bartolini. Do you know
Bartolini?
Do you know Bartolini?
Yeah.
Those
are my people.
When I was at Roberto Ben, a guy from Bartolini came out to see us, and John Reuter was a huge believer, and I am too. And if you look at how beautiful they were, you couldn't see the wiring because they're all encased in epoxy, but like everything that they're done a little differently now. But I still have a handful of those pickups from the 80s, and they're just they sound awesome. The build quality is stellar, and yeah, that everything about Bartolini. I'm a huge fan of the Bartolini, and I don't know why they didn't take off.
I mean, they're
more
still,
than they
obviously
have.
they're still out there. I mean, I think it's one of those ones that people they're popular enough to obviously keep going.
I think
the ones that I've heard I thought were excellent sounding.
More popular on basses than guitars for some
Yes.
reason, and I think that some of that is guitar players are traditional, and it's hard to get them convinced that
And bass players are who's
bass player. Yeah, no, bass players seem to be a little more interested in kind of pushing the envelope. But yeah, guitar players, I think life and death stops at the PAF humbucker and Abigail Ibarra's single coils. So that's fine.
I think you're right. I've said this before. I'm like, bass players will play anything. If it's a 2x4 and it sounds good, they don't give a shit what it looks like.
Well, they usually want some
most likely they'll
classy
play
woods and finishes and neat stuff like that. What else we got, Carrie Ann?
Joel Bachhuber, I think. My favorite is still my 80s Kramer Carrera with Floyd.
Ooh.
But I like it.
You like what?
That's what he says. Not cool, but I like
Oh,
it.
I think
it's a
in my
cool
head, that's how
guitar.
he said it,
Yeah.
so.
There's something cool about all those 80s things for me because that's my vintage. So if you have an 80s
That's when
Kramer-
I was class president 2
Yeah,
years in a row.
you have and it was 3 years in a row. And and if you have an 80s Kramer, it's an antique according to some people.
I used to have one, and
Mhm.
I traded in.
Did you have the
for
one
my
that
current- for
that
my-
homeboy had?
I didn't have that one. No, that was like a fancy.
Mm.
I had some lower end.
Did you have a Pacer?
It wasn't that low end. I
Oh.
was somewhere in the middle.
Okay.
It was white. Had a Floyd Rose. I traded that in for my '89 American Strat.
Cool.
Because
Good trade, yeah.
I'm not going to be worth the shit as a shredder. I'm like,
Mhm.
but I might be able to fake some blue shit. I need a Strat.
You can flat get it though.
What's that?
You can flat get it.
Get
I've heard
what?
you play.
Well,
You're
I'm
the
working
man.
on it. I'm working on it.
I think one day you ever learn to play guitar is what I'm gonna say to you one year. And yeah, you're
You're like, I've been watching this kid.
I'm
This
having
kid
a-
right here, he's getting good over
I'm
here.
having a lot of fun with hearing what everybody likes. And it seems like
Nobody asked me.
oh yeah, that's right.
I mean, I'm right here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna.
Isn't
I'm
that
like-
your new favorite guitar?
Well, it's gonna be.
Yeah. So and besides, doesn't everyone know that?
I think everybody. already
Yeah, everyone
knows.
already knows you like Telecasters.
Like, I-
It's boring. I love tellies. though.
whatever.
They're
It's
so
the
cool.
single double
Yeah.
cut fucking
Yeah.
Gibson.
So I'm having a lot of fun with learning about everyone's favorite guitar. We got Ike from Flipside Music here. If you're just joining us, Ike, why don't you tell us a little bit about your favorite guitar? No one cares what your favorite. No, go ahead. Tell us
Telecaster.
what. Yeah. What is it about the telly that you're hot to trot on?
I don't know. To be honest, it's really hard
Well,
to
that's
pick. I know
terrific.
it makes for
Yeah.
riveting. It makes for a riveting conversation. But I started basically with Kramers and kind of the shreddy things.
Yeah.
And
Well, because
just
yeah,
didn't-
you're as vintage as I am. So
totally.
you're in the same. Yeah.
that's what everybody was
Yeah,
playing. So
yeah.
everybody had the Kramer. You had to have a Kramer Pacer,
Mhm.
no, the Beretta. Everybody had to have a
Ooh,
Beretta.
yeah.
Remember?
I do. Yeah.
So I
Or
was like,
BC Rich.
I don't have any talent enough to own one of those.
Mhm.
And then what happened is I kind of got into blues music,
Mhm.
and then I went for a Strat, and I played that Strat forever until I was jamming with some folks, and this dude had a telly, and so I tried the telly, and then that was it. I just kind of fell in love with the body shape, the way it sounded, and then from there it's just kind of grown into a thing.
There's something that's magical about how simple
Right.
that instrument is, and if the Esquire or the Broadcaster or the telly were Leo's first, let's throw this out there and then we'll hack on it and modify it and smooth it out. Where his masterworks, I still think the telly is just that shape, and it's everything about it is super cool. So
And, I mean, it's iconic in it, but I don't know that it's about that. I just like the way it feels. I like a fatter neck, obviously. But I just like a volume knob, a tone knob, 3-way switch.
Yep.
There we go. I don't need a lot of extra stuff.
Mhm.
So as a default, that's kind of where I go. Obviously, there's other guitars I like too, but that one is just, it's simple. It does its job.
So
And you're off and running.
in the tellies that we have done, we put for the most part we've loaded them with Seymour Duncan quarter pounders,
Mhm.
and I think that that's the ultimate Telecaster pickup, especially the one from the custom shop, because the coil's tapped. So it's got 3 wires coming off of it. It'll keep up with any humbucker. You can roll it back and get that kind of telly.
You get a little bit more twang out of it. If you roll it back, but it's got bite. That's what I like about it.
Yeah. So if you got a telly with those pickups in it.
Well, we got a Texas Toast telly with them.
Okay.
So we've tried that, but I've tried them. Yeah, we got a daily driver.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that good marketing. Somebody's on top of that shit. But I got a telly that has, hot rails.
Also cool pickups. Yeah.
Right. And I like a humbucker in a telly,
Mm-hmm.
but then I like other pickup configurations. So right now, the only one that I have that is kind of normal is an ASAT Classic. So it's a G&L ASAT Classic, but the MFD pickups in that have a nice bite to them, so you can put some gain on them.
So hold on.
Roll it back.
So ASAT, that's another Strat, another telly.
Yes.
And what's the MFD?
It's their
motherfucking distortion.
We'll take
right?
it.
I don't know. I don't.
What does it stand for?
Oh, is it really? Okay. I have no idea if the
encyclopedia.
ASAT and MFD mean any of that stuff, but I just wanted to say that for some reason.
I think it sounds cool. We should just get shirts.
Motherfucking the motherfucking seal of approval.
But ASAT, yeah, that's a anti-satellite
Ooh,
thing. That's what it's named after.
Ooh, okay.
Some military shit.
So we got Dylan from Flipside in here too. Dylan, you want to get on this side of the camera and be a special guest for tell us about your favorite guitar? So while Dylan, I'm kicking you out.
All right, Dylan is the encyclopedia of pedals and.
So
can I take this with me?
Yeah, in a little bit you can. Yeah, we got 15 more minutes. So I saw something about an SG, and I want to tell a little story about an SG. My very first guitar was an SG, and in fact, I bought it from Jinx Jones at Cadillac Guitars.
That alone, and you could just stop.
And when my
story stopped.
And my second guitar was an SG. I love the SG. There's just something cool about them. So, okay, so we got Dylan. Let's get Dylan queued up. Thanks, Dylan, Ike, for joining us. And
here, let me clean these off.
Oh, geez, Louise.
Did it have to be the nipples?
Of course it did.
Carrie Ann, you got any?
Well, I just wanted to say thank you to Elmondo. He says my voice sounds like a nightingale.
Ooh.
Sounds like a nightingale.
Yeah, it sounds like a nightingale. So she's the one nagging at you. Actually, Mrs. Texas Toast isn't much of a nagger. So yeah, she pretty much lets me do whatever I want. So. Hey everybody, we got Dylan here from Flipside Music, and
out of frame.
So how do you like the headphones and the microphones?
It's a little funky.
It's it takes a little while to get used to.
That smooth kind of hearing your own voice echo back to you is a little weird.
So Dylan, tell us a little bit about your favorite guitar.
Well, currently it's Pickles.
I've your Texas Toast guitar, nice.
Yeah, that's kind of moved into the #1 spot for sure.
Okay.
Before that, though, if I had to pick an all-time favorite, it'd be the Explorer for sure.
What is it about the Explorer that, like, just the shape of it, the sonic attack that you get?
The shape, the fact that it kind of gives you the Les Paul vibe, at least sonically, without looking like a Les Paul.
Yeah,
is one thing I like about it.
Or the weight of a Les Paul, although some Explorers are downright heavy.
Yeah, mine's around like 9.5 pounds or so.
Yeah, that's a heavy guitar.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely I love the shape. To me, it always looked like a spaceship getting ready to fly by.
What was your go-to band of dude who played the Explorer?
Initially, it was definitely Metallica for sure, but
so not Leonard Skinner.
No, there's a few different ones. Skinner, Metallica, even Clapton. Like when I saw Clapton play,
did he have an Explorer?
Yeah, like he did his first band or his first album after Cream. He ended up doing like a show, and he had like a '57 Carina. And I just thought it was if Clapton can play blues on it, and Hetfield can play metal on it. Can cover a pretty good territory.
Not many people know this, but Eric Clapton was actually in Def Leppard for 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
I just made.
Was it just for the ab routine?
It was just. Yeah. It was right before Phil Collin came on.
Yeah.
And they kicked out Pete,
those abs
and they got Eric Clapton, and yeah. So let's take some questions, or let's listen to some other people's. Carrie Ann's going to tell us a little bit about some other people's favorite guitars.
While we're custom guitars, my favorite guitar is my MOE =MC², handmade from my repurposed waterbed frame.
Wow, cool.
Heavy, though. Isn't that like particle board?
No, yeah, it
And you
depends.
have-
So if you go to Big Sur waterbeds, I think some of that stuff might have been
Like
oak.
nice.
I don't know. Yeah, well, maybe he'll tell us.
Well, it's like one of those things like Brian May with Old Red or whatever.
His red specials
like,
oak.
Yeah, being like because part of it's his like kitchen table, and then the neck was from like his
mantle or
mantle,
something.
yeah.
Yeah.
That thing's weird too. It's a 20-inch scale. I never knew that till recently.
20-inch scale.
Yeah.
Wow.
I just assumed it. Yeah, I thought it was a little higher, but
I would. Yeah. Did you say that's got a set of Burns pickups? Yeah. Chris is nodding in the background.
nodding in confirmation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Am I talking really loud too? I feel like I am just because
you can hear you. It's that's what the headphones are for. Yeah. EMG stole the market. What else we got? What we got coming up here?
Well, Terry's GG&G. My current gas playing go-to is ATM is my VS phone Sheridan 2.
What is go-to ATM?
At the moment.
Ass to mouth.
So not ass to.
Oh, sorry.
You never go ass to mouth.
You gotta pay extra for that.
Oh, Terry's getting a clubbing.
Sorry.
Okay, what else we got? We got about 10 more minutes here. Let's hear about a few more people's favorite guitars, and we'll get Chris back on. Dylan, how's it going now that you have Fender in at the shop?
Pretty good. I mean,
I'm the
odd guy out.
Big shot, fancy pants kind of guy now.
That part of it, yeah.
Sure,
that was actually pretty cool though. No, like that was a big move. I mean, like
it is.
Even like Ike was, that was kind of like his first real guitar, so that was a big part of it too.
Well, Fender. I mean, Fender's yeah. You got. I mean, that's the biggest guitar company in the world for electric guitars, probably, right?
Yeah. Well, and it did feel like it gave us kind of a not that we didn't have it before, but it felt like we were
a little more street cred.
Yeah, a little more legitimate than we were before.
Sure. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, it's cool. I'm glad you guys got Fender.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we should have any of our guitars that are Fender inspired in the shop anymore. Because you know what I mean? Why don't we just
well, no, actually, that Pinecaster gets a lot of attention.
Oh, does it?
It does. Yeah, I'm really surprised it hasn't been sold yet because that one's probably lately has been the most played.
Before you leave, I want you to play the Infinity radius
I was asking Chris about that as quietly as I could before. But yeah, no, it looks pretty cool. I think you guys were still putting it together last time I popped over.
Yeah. So Carrie Ann, tell us a little bit more about other people's favorite guitars.
Custom Guitars got back and said it was pine.
Oh, okay.
I used Masonite and the pine, kind of like the old school Dan Electros.
Yeah. So Dan Electros are cool. A fun story, fun fact about Dan Electros is Randy Rhoads' very first polka dot V was a custom made guitar, and you this is all legit stuff. You can look it up. The guy who made it didn't know how to make necks, or didn't have all the tooling to make necks or something, and he used a Dan Electro neck. And so the reason that it has those propeller inlays is that it had the regular dots, and then he went in and he didn't remove the frets, but he added the little
like the
wings, or the blades, and if you know anything about Dan Electros, that's a poplar neck.
Oh, really?
So so all the people who tap on wood and what tone do I get? Randy Rhoads did it with a poplar neck, and it was a lot of money too, in like 80 or 81. He had the guy commission. It was like $700 for him to do it. I'm like, damn, that was
back then,
a huge amount of money for a poplar neck flying V thing. But yeah, Randy Rhoads
the one
was
that
cool.
had the like the more Strat style trim system.
I don't know the answer to that. We should look that up, and I should do a blog post on that, because it's a cool story, and there's lots of cool stuff about it.
Cool story, man.
Cool story, Matt.
Cool story,
Shit it. Oh, someone says that Brian May's Red Special is a 24-inch scale.
Oh, was it? Okay. Sorry. For some reason, I thought it was shorter than that, like 20 or something. But yeah, that's a little too short, I guess. Yeah.
And then I see we're doing the speed round here. We ever made a 7-string? We have not made a 7-string, but we just completed a 5-string bass for a friend of ours the other day, which I realize isn't a 7-string guitar, but same idea in bass form. We could absolutely do one. It's super cool. Let me know if you guys want to see 7-string basses.
That'd be cool. That'd be interesting.
I'm sorry, not basses, guitars.
Yeah,
I'll do a 7-string bass too. I don't care. What else we got, Mrs. Texas Toast?
Oh, okay. So, Don Vanko, I have Hondo 2 Strat knockoff direct mount HSS pickups that I traded for a $25 car amp in '88.
Dropped in a Bartolini. Nice. You know, there was Hondos and then there was Hondos. And I want to say that those were imported in Texas. Did you know the Hondo story?
Yeah, like the old Longhorn, right?
My first guitar,
yeah.
First electric guitar was a Hondo Longhorn.
Okay.
It had like 40 frets.
Awesome. Yeah.
Like
I had a double neck Hondo Longhorn, and they were like 3-octave necks, I want to say. Yeah. Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah. It's one of the weirder looking guitars.
I've had a number of Hondos. I had a Hondo Flying V that was actually a set neck, and as if I wish I still had it, but I think I broke it on stage because I wanted to be, that douchebag who breaks a guitar.
At least once, yeah.
Yeah, and
one had to go. That's a dramatic looking one to do it with.
Yeah, I shouldn't have done it. And then I had a Hondo bolt-on neck, sort of like, remember the Paul? It was there, like the wood,
like the trimmed down one.
Yeah,
no
a real basic single cutaway Gibson. There was the Hondo version of that, and that actually came from Hondo with DiMarzio pickups.
Wow.
And so this guitar I bought, it had one pickup, and I actually set a new neck in because the neck was bad. So yeah.
Yeah, it's a double neck Longhorn. Is that what that is?
That's yep. That's it. Carrie Ann, we got any more questions? We got a few more minutes.
Minx in the UK.
Oh, hey, I know that.
Hi, Minx. Hey guys, sorry I'm late. My favorite guitar has never been built. Hollow body archtop.
Whoa.
Hollow body archtop Flying V? Wow.
Of course. Well, I don't see why that couldn't be a super cool thing to do. The best part about that was if I was going to do that, I would start out with a solid back and just hog it all out, sort of like I did on Matt's Big Fat One. And then I don't know how I would do the top, but doing the top with like some kind of spruce or something and hollow it would actually be a really fun guitar to do. So what else we got? We got a few more minutes here, guys. It's been a lot of fun hearing about your favorite guitars and talking about your favorites and talking about our favorites. And it was super cool to have some special guests come out. We didn't know we were going to get everybody from Flipside, so that was really fun. Thanks for coming out, you guys.
Of course. Yeah, to see
not you, Ike.
The Beastie and Predator. No, honestly, I really want to hear this thing.
So yeah, well, so Ike and Dylan stopped by. They wanted to check out Ike's new axe, and he's going to be grinding on it for a little while. And yeah, so thanks for joining us. Chris, you want to come back in, and we'll
Sure.
we'll go ahead and close this one out. Carrie Ann, is there anything else that is?
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Dylan.
Well, I just think this is funny, and it's totally aside.
Okay.
But Death by Humbuckers visited my local fabric shop, and there was nothing with a defined pattern with skulls on it. Does this mean that Scottish fabric consumers don't have enough choice, or you guys badly dressed?
What it really means is that you have to go to the fabric store around Halloween to find skull stuff.
Anytime here, this crazy fabric. He's in Scotland, I guess.
Oh yeah.
And they just have, I guess, tartans and plaids. I don't know. Is that right?
I'm not
I'm
sure.
not making fun. It just seems.
Can you say that?
Well, I would. Okay, now here's the thing about skull fabric, though. All the stuff that I have bought that's skull fabric, I bought around Halloween. Now, this one here that I got, he got it. Are you sure it wasn't around Halloween? You ordered it online, so yeah. But if you want to go to the fabric store and look for skull and spooktastic fabric, right around the All Hallows Eve is a great time to do that, because then it'll be on sale. Carrie Ann, do you have anything else before we wrap this one up?
I gotta go pee.
Gotta go pee. Okay. So well, why don't we just, Chris, let's just read some stuff here while Carrie Ann goes and takes a squirt. Build a Texas, so Texas shaped solid body video. I don't know what that is. But you remember Billy Gibbons has one of everything. He has the outline of Texas shaped guitars. But do you remember Gibson had for a while we can hear you. So Gibson had for a while, they had the like a laser cut outline of the United States, all
Right.
mahogany guitar with a Gibson neck and, standard 2 humbuckers, stop tail, tune-o-matic. Do you remember those?
I do. Yeah.
There was actually one at a music store I worked at in Amarillo, and who would ever buy that? You know what I mean? To like, I'm going to take this out, and then Florida breaks off, or something.
Yeah, I'd be worried about getting my my arm caught on the
but it's probably like a super duper collector item now. But in
Probably,
1989, it was just a guitar that we couldn't sell. And who knows? Maybe like Gibson. I don't know. Maybe if anybody knows how that worked, like how the Gibson
like
America shaped guitars got distributed, I'd like to know that. So yeah.
I bet you it's one of those things where somebody thought it was a really great idea to get it in, and everybody will really like this.
People are gonna love it.
And if they won't, we'll use it as a wall hanger or something. I'm
sure that's exactly what it was. Yeah.
Oh man, that's really neat.
Well, because this store had like pianos, and it was like a old school music store that had sheet music and saxophones and pianos and lessons upstairs, and it was Tolzien Music in Amarillo, Texas, and they had lots and lots and lots of stuff. And I want to say they had 2 or 3 stores all over all over West Texas. So yeah.
And sometimes I think when you're ordering, you get carried away, and the next thing
we'll take one of those American guitars,
American, United States shaped.
Now, and some of them had the Evel Knievel kind of paint scheme. They were white.
I guess I haven't seen one of those. White. Yeah,
and because the one that we had was just brown,
right,
and a mahogany shape like America. The outline of But there's a couple that I've seen pictures of that were a field of white, and they didn't have like the American flag painted on them, but they had like a red stripe with blue stars or something. It was kind of that.
I haven't seen that. Now I want to see it. Yeah. Now I'm all excited.
There's a picture on the Texas Toast Facebook page that I sometimes put up for 4th of July or something, and it's one of those.
Oh, so, okay. Maybe I have seen it then.
Is Chris doing pinstriping yet? I don't know. You've done some pinstriping.
Yeah, I've done some pinstriping. I don't really have the patience for it. Mike Learn is the pinstripe guy.
Mike actually stopped by yesterday. He was doing some pinstriping.
Yeah, it was down the street pinstriping a 55 Chevy for a guy.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, that's what he said. Yeah. And and I'm probably not going to do any pinstriping.
What about like that tape that looks like pinstriping?
Yeah,
just clear over it.
Yeah. No, I would at least paint it on.
So, I've had a lot of fun with this podcast, and I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up now. And it looks like you guys had a lot of fun too. I'm seeing some people, saying it was a lot of fun. I think the next one that we want to do, we still want to get, one of these times in the next few times is going to be us and Brian Nutter at Nutter Guitars.
Right.
So we need to schedule some time with Brian and go ahead and do one of those. But the next one of these that we do like this, I think is going to be, what's your favorite guitar feature, or what's your favorite guitar innovation, or, what one thing about, like what cool thing on a guitar is your favorite cool thing on a guitar. So be thinking about that.
I'm already confused.
All right. So let me give you an example.
Okay.
So,
but this isn't yours.
No, not necessarily. Okay. So yours could be, I think the Jazzmaster Trim is my favorite guitar innovation.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because it looks cool and it does what it's supposed to do, and it doesn't get in the way and or whatever. You can have it be whatever you want it to be. So
are strap buttons taken yet?
Strap locks could absolutely be a great one. Yeah. So guys, thanks for tuning in to our podcast, and thanks for we could do this for several hours, especially me, because I have a great big fat mouth. And if you guys had a good time watching, please consider supporting us on Patreon. Again, it is Patreon dollars that make all this stuff possible, including all this swanky audio gear that we just got a bunch more of. We got a couple more microphones, so maybe we'll have a thing we won't have to kick you out every time.
Right. I can just, back off. And really, I wasn't that lively today. I'm not, I'll be more lively next time.
You kind of had there's some stuff going on in the shop right now that I can't really get into, but we're going to bring you guys up to speed with a fabric finish on an amp. That's funny.
I'm going to do it.
So we'll bring you guys up to speed with some of the stuff that's going on in the shop, and there's a lot of things that are happening. and a lot of things that are not necessarily happening. But thanks for tuning in. If you like this kind of stuff, like I say, consider going over to our Patreon page and becoming a member. Even $1 a month goes a long way to having us bring you cool content like this. If you like the video, give us the thumbs up. And if you can't do Patreon, we totally understand. But make sure to share this video with everybody that you can. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Thanks for everybody that watched. Thanks to Ike and Dylan from Flipside Music. And looks like we're about ready to hit the stop button on the broadcast. So this is Matt.
This is Chris
At Texas Toast, reminding you that life is short. You might as well have a cool guitar. Thanks for watching, everybody.